Good afternoon. We welcome you to the University of North Florida here in Jacksonville, Florida, the 2012 FHSAA Track Finals, Boys and Girls Finals, Class 3A this afternoon. Here from beautiful Hodges Stadium, the track at the University of North Florida. Along with Dr. Bob Cook of DistantPreps.com, I'm Marty Paulman, welcoming you back to the University of North Florida. And Dr. Bob, I know you got a chance to see the 1A and 2A finals last week with Mike Radout. It's a pleasure to be with you today as we will see another long day, but another fun day of track and field, and we'll crown some more state champions today in Class 3A.
Last weekend was just an absolutely stellar event, both days, very suspenseful. We saw a lot of great competition, a lot of great athletes that are going to be on the stage in college and further beyond, I think, somewhere down the road. This weekend, 3A and 4A, stepping it up a notch, Marty. It's very, very hot down on the track. We're just about ready to go with the girls 4x8.
And we are underway, in fact, with the 4x800 meter relay.
We'll run them down. This will be the first section of two. Lane 2 will be Archbishop McCarthy. Lane 3, Cardinal Gibbons. Lane 4, Steinbrenner. Lane 5, Oak Ridge. Lane 6, Mitchell. Lane 7, Nice. And lane 8 will be Fort Lauderdale. Fastest time in 3A this year, already thrown down by Lakewood Ranch. They'll be in the second section. They've gone 9:21.16 at the Florida Relays as the girls come through. Right around 32 seconds. So right around 2:04 pace. I think they'll probably slow it a little bit down from that, but the girls are out fast, and we're underway with the 3A girls, Section 1, 4x8.
Last year won by Pine Forest. Pine Forest won it with a time of 9:13.97, and they are the defending state champs in 3A, and girls are the Pine Forest team out of Pensacola.
And Pine Forest, you know, not the same team as they were last year. A little bit of a rebuilding year, not even in the 4x8 this year as the girls come through, right around 66 seconds. So 32-34, and out pretty darn good. They start to stretch them out a little bit.
Yeah, we talked coming in today that really the favorite probably considered here is Miami Northwestern overall as the team favorite, 4A champs the last 2 years. Now dropped down to Class 3A, and also that Lakewood Ranch squad, that team we'll see in Section 2, is also considered one of the favorites for the girls' 3A state title.
Yeah, Miami Northwestern in 3A this year, Marty, and they'll be a force to be reckoned with for the next several years at this level. Well, we'll be coming up on the first exchange. We'll get a little better idea of what kind of pace the ladies are on. American Heritage has already gone 9:13.53. They lead the state. We got a chance to see that last weekend at the 2A state finals. And the fastest time in the nation is a blistering sub-9, 8:59.69 by Grosse Pointe. So here we go, Marty, just about ready for the first handoff. Handoffs are very important, even in the 4x8s, as we saw last weekend.
It's like a good, clean handoff there for Archbishop McCarthy.
And I think actually that
That's
may be
Cardinal
Cardinal
Gibbons.
Gibbons out front. So Cardinal Gibbons, they come in with a 10:07.14 on their seat time out of the regional last week. And the thing with the 4x8 that you got to remember is it's a long race.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of these teams will stack up either their first or two runners as their best runners, and maybe they'll start to tail off in the end. So it's never really a done deal until maybe that last lap in the 4x8, and we're going to get a chance to see some real good anchors. Maybe they have to make up some room. And then the question is, well, if they're not going to be able to get on the podium, if they're not going to be able to run a best time, do they back off? Because it's a long day for a lot of these runners. They've got some of the distance events coming back later on today. And Marty, you were down there as I was a little bit earlier. It is very, very hot. Luckily, we've got a little bit of cloud cover.
Yeah, we do. It's been cloudy most of the day, the sun coming out, but right now I'd say 90 degrees, lower 90s. Humidity is high today here in Jacksonville, and it's going to be a issue of stamina today for these athletes. Looks like you're right, Cardinal Gibbons with a...
So right around 3:28 after
right now.
lap 3 for Cardinal Gibbons, and Oak Ridge back in third right now. And Fort Lauderdale presently in second. Fort Lauderdale comes in out of their regional with a time of 10:21. And Oak Ridge, the fastest seed out of the regionals last week, even though they're back in third right now, and it's still kind of early in the race, they come in 9:51.86.
And Cardinal Gibbons coming in actually out of these teams as the 5th best time. at 10:07:14. And like you said, this is a very long race, so stamina will be an issue. As a good-sized lead, but that can change at any time on this warm afternoon, and we'll see how the athletes handle it. The fans here with their umbrellas, so that's helping them somewhat. It is a very warm day here the first weekend of May at the University of North Florida.
I'll tell you, you normally only get the diehards that'll come out and watch the 4x8 at high noon and 1 o'clock. Normally after the 4x8s, everybody retreats back to the hotel or somewhere cool and kind of get rested up for later on. So Cardinal Gibbons will take it. They continue to lead after 2 legs, 4:47, followed by Fort Lauderdale, and a new team now into third with Oak Ridge back into fourth.
As you said, the first of 2 sections. Coming up, we'll have that Lakewood Ranch team in Section 2 had the fastest time coming in the regionals. We'll also see Northwestern for the first time.
And now we're starting to see the runner from Oak Ridge start to make up some room, coming up on Fort Lauderdale in second. Still a good 50, 60 meters behind Cardinal Gibbons, who was led from the outset. So maybe a little bit of a surprise that it's not closer at this point with a lot of these front teams. You know, Oak Ridge 9:51 and Cardinal Gibbons right around 10:07. So there's normally about a 15-second difference. A lot of times at the regional meet, you don't need to run as fast as you're capable. And a lot of times you'll see vastly improved times in the 4x8 at the state meet, especially if they start changing up some of the runners. You know, you've got that option of putting in some of your different runners, maybe some of your more specialized 800-meter relay types.
They are battling for second and battling for fourth right now. And it looks like Oak Ridge may be about to take that second position, but now side to side with Fort Lauderdale.
And Oak Ridge now into the lead halfway through that turn. But it's still a 50-meter difference. You know, that's a lot to make up with just the amount of time and distance that we've got left. So you're feeling pretty good right now. If you're Cardinal Gibbons, it'd be interesting to see who they have on the anchor and what kind of runner she is. She's going to have a nice lead when we get there. And now we're starting to tighten it up down the backstretch. There's never any lead or any amount of lead that is really safe in the 4x8 just because you see a wide variance in the talent levels of the runners.
Still a sizable lead for Cardinal Gibbons. Boy, the runner there really is in control, it seems like, really with a good pace. But you're right, Oak Ridge making up some ground here on the back stretch.
Okay, here we come across 7:15. We'll see how much of a lead that is. And Oak Ridge at 7:22, so right around 7 seconds. Fort Lauderdale in third, Nice now into fourth. Good battle between 3 and 4 right now, but it's all Cardinal Gibbons. They are 40 meters clear, but that gap I think is going to start to shorten up possibly on this leg. Runner from Oak Ridge down the backstretch looking pretty good. Very early into this leg of the 4x8. This will be the anchor leg, so we'll have good insight as to what kind of times are going to be thrown down with about a lap to go. And you know, the important thing, Marty, is all these runners, all these teams in this section know that they've got the fast section coming up. They've got to run as fast as they possibly can if they want to get up on the podium. There'll be 9 teams in the second section. They will only take 8 up to the podium.
And here cruising in is Cardinal Gibbons with Morgan Rodriguez, and Oak Ridge again continuing to cut into that lead, though. The all-time FHSAA finals record set by Miami Northwestern in 2007, 9:05.90, so that will not be threatened here. But we will see in our next section what happens, obviously. As you mentioned, Nice now moves into third.
Nice into third, but they're being pressured by Mitchell that's coming up behind them. And that's going to be a good battle all the way to the finish. They're going to come off and have just a little bit over 300 meters. The runner from Mitchell back in third now, moving past her down the backstretch. The wind is negligible at this point. You'd like to have a little bit of back wind or a little bit of tailwind on the backstretch. But it's all Cardinal Gibbons with 200 meters to go, followed by Oak Ridge and Mitchell. Mitchell making a move. She's got 200 meters to go. Maybe try and move up in a second. I don't think they're going to catch Cardinal Gibbons, as Cardinal Gibbons will be coming off the turn here and 100 meters to home. And you know what? Everybody is moving except for the runner from Cardinal Gibbons.
Yeah.
Hopefully she knows they're coming up behind her. She's got 80 meters to home now. Probably going to be safe, but you never know. We've seen some unbelievable kicks in the 4x8. The runner from Mitchell back in third. Really moving, trying to catch the runner from Oak Ridge. But it looks like it's going to be Cardinal Gibbons from start to finish, Marty.
And she does run across around 9:49. Coming in second is Oak Ridge, third Mitchell. Nice will finish fourth. And coming in fifth place, Cardinal Gibbons had 9:49.36. Oak Ridge a 9:51.77. Mitchell in third at 9:54.48. And we are waiting to see the final times, official times as well. But those are your top three. Steinbrenner comes in fourth, actually at 10:01.37. George Steinbrenner High School. And there are the times there. And Cardinal Gibbons with a 5-second, tenth of a second lead there. And that is a big lead from start to finish for them. Fort Lauderdale will finish fifth. And Nice will end up, actually Archbishop McCarthy will end up sixth. Nice falls to seventh. So there are your totals and your times for the first section of this 4x800 relay final.
And a really big improvement from their regional time for Cardinal Gibbons. 10:07 at the region. They go 9:49 today for the win in Section 1.
I know, Dr. Bob, you know a lot about track, and I'm learning from you, but how big of a difference is that now? You go from 10:07 9:49. That's a fairly impressive jump, I'm sure, from the regionals to the final.
Yeah, that is very, very good. Not exactly sure who they ran in the regional events, but to show you the progression, they went 10:07 last week at the regional. Their previous best time was 9:56.76 at the Florida Relays. So it's a 7-second PR over the season. What a great way for the ladies from Cardinal Gibbons to finish out their 4x8 season. The question is it going to be good enough to get on the podium? You know, we've got a lot of stellar teams in this second section.
So now they're listing. Okay, the scoreboard was. I'm sorry, Mitchell was third, Nice is fourth. So the scoreboard was incorrect. I was looking at Steinbrenner in fifth. Fort Lauderdale High School finishes sixth. And then in seventh place is Archbishop McCarthy. So now we're ready for Section 2.
Yeah, you know, we just had the pleasure of being able to look at that clock from halfmiletiming.com.
Yes.
They'll show us all the times after the races are done. And the folks at home that are watching, tune on into halfmiletiming.com. Bring it up in a different window. They've got live results. You can kind of follow along with the team scores. And the team scores will get a little bit more important once we get into the prelims and the finals later on this evening. But we'll be keeping up with the team battles. We will have a team champion for 2012 and a runner-up. So now we turn our attention to Section 2 of the girls 4x8, and we'll run them down.
We will start with Northwestern in lane 1, Naples in lane 2, Bartram Trail in 3, Fort Myers in 4, Lakewood Ranch in lane 5, Estero in 6, Creekside in 7, St. Cloud High School in lane 8, and Stanton Preparatory School in lane 9. And Stanton off to a big start there, but the best time in this section this year was by Lakewood Ranch in the regional, actually 9:24.17. They are considered one of the favorites to win this event and also to win the 3A girls title.
Lakewood Ranch, they've already gone 9:21.16 this year. I fully expect that it's going to be a battle between Lakewood Ranch, Estero, and Fort Myers, and noticeably absent from the 4x8 field. Probably surprising to a lot of folks is that there's no team from Childs in the 4x8, but they've got the rest of the distance events stacked. Lily Williams trying to get the triple, very hard to do here at the state meet, and a lot of their runners are going to be safe so that hopefully they can take a run later on at a team championship. So the first leg coming up right around 64 seconds for our leaders.
Looks like Stanton right now leading the way.
Stanton comes in 9:49 out of their regional time. And they've already gone 9:49 as their best time as well. So they PR'd last week. This will be really a good effort to see if they can get down below 9:49.17, the time they set last week. We know that in this race we've got some of the best distance runners, some of the best Harriers that are probably going to be on the anchor for teams like Lakewood Ranch with Olivia Ortiz and Casey Smith from Estero. So this race is going to play out for the first couple of laps as everybody kind of settles in. Everybody will be trying to get their follow-on teammate as big a lead as possible. Make sure everything is safe through the relay exchange zones. And we're coming up 100 meters to go. First leg of Section 2, the girls 4x8.
At 2:17 through that time around.
And Northwestern looking pretty darn good right now.
Boy, they're off to a big lead now.
10:02 on their seed time out of the regional. And Northwestern, they've already gone 9:57 this year, so they're able to run some really fast times.
Boy, sizable lead now.
It was Stanton in second and Estero in third.
Northwestern now to a pretty good size lead, but still not even halfway through this 4x800 meter relay final.
And this is kind of surprising to me. For Lakewood Ranch, presently running in right around 6th place right now, they've got Olivia Ortiz, Foot Locker finalist, state champion for 3A on the anchor, and she's going to make up some room, as you can tell. So Northwestern now going to start feeling Olivia Ortiz coming up behind in this trail pack, right around 3:22 as Northwestern went by, and around 3:27, so about 4 seconds difference. Back to Lakewood Ranch in second.
Well, it's funny how you mentioned Olivia Ortiz. The minute that happened, she really kind of kicked it into gear, and there are 5 girls on the track within a few meters of each other. 2nd through 6th is very close right now, and 7th and 8th not far back as well.
And this makes it very tough for Olivia Ortiz. You know, obviously she wants to do very well in the 4x8 for her team. She's got a lot of room to make up, so she's really going to have to put out a really good effort. And the question is, does she have enough time throughout the rest of the day to come back and run some decent distance events later on and help her team? Lakewood Ranch, one of the favorites. You know, it'd be nice to get 10 points out of this event. Miami Northwestern continues to lead, though, with Lakewood Ranch in second. And then it's 5 meters back to 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So a good couple of races within the races. Races against the clock and races against the teams. We're starting to see some movement now down the last 50 meters coming in.
Starting to see that lead not fade, but get a little closer as, again, Lakewood Ranch is on the trail of Northwestern. I think we said before the day started, Northwestern probably a big favorite in 3A. The last two-time defending 4A state champs down to 3A, but maybe the distance event's not really their strength, but right now you wouldn't know that.
Well, this is a little bit of a surprise as well, and maybe it's a good thing that Estero has Casey Smith running this leg, the third leg for Estero, followed by Kristen Zarella out of Lakewood Ranch, because they are going to start to put some pressure on Miami Northwestern. That lead now down to probably about 2.5, 3 seconds. Casey is a really good 800-meter runner, a very good miler, and she's coming up. That gap is going to start closing very shortly. And just like we said, you know, the cream kind of rises to the top here in the 4x8 as the race progresses. So Estero and Lakewood Ranch, we thought it was going to be a battle between those two. It may come down to the anchor, but Casey Smith now into the lead for Estero. She'll bring them through in 5:43. Northwestern in second. Lakewood Ranch in third, and Lakewood Ranch now starting to make up some room. Girls in fourth, crossing in 5:51, 5:52. But it's really a three-way team battle, and pretty soon it's going to be just a two-way team battle between Estero and Lakewood Ranch down the backstretch.
Boy, what a leg here for Casey Smith. Came from way back in third to now decent lead, trying to extend that lead.
And Lakewood Ranch is hanging tough. You know, 200 meters to go. We all know Casey's got a lot of guts. She will stretch it out this last 200, and she's not worried about tonight. She, I think, wants to get a 4x8 team championship for her team, and she will give the handoff here in the lead. Lakewood Ranch in second, followed by Miami Northwestern. Well, here we go. It's going to come down to the anchor leg. Estero's going to have about a 2-second lead over Lakewood Ranch, and we'll get a chance to see a lot of movement for third, fourth, and fifth places. So right around 6:57 for Estero, 6:58, 6:59 for Lakewood Ranch. Miami Northwestern in third comes across in 7:06.
So now we have Megan Slater for Estero. Boy, here comes Lakewood Ranch, you mentioned.
And on the anchor, we'll confirm it, but that ought to be Devin McDermott for Lakewood Ranch, an FHSAA academic all-state member. Devin McDermott, a senior out of Lakewood Ranch. While Mike, or Marty, I should say, this is setting up to be very, very interesting with 500 meters to go. And Miami Northwestern is not out of it yet. They have looked to have a little bit of resurgence with right around 500 meters to go now for Miami Northwestern, back in third.
It is, in fact, Devin McDermott. And they are now neck and neck between her and Megan Slater for Estero. Northwestern still hanging on to third, but they have dropped back.
Well, we mentioned that Lakewood Ranch has already gone 9:21 this year, and Estero's gone 9:29. And here we are, neck and neck in the state finals for 3A, with Devin McDermott just off the right-hand shoulder, letting the runner from Estero know that she's there. 300 meters to go down the backstretch. Somebody's going to walk away with 10 points, and somebody's going to walk away with 8. One will get a championship trophy, and one will be runner-up. It all comes down to guts right here. Devin McDermott kind of hanging out on the right-hand shoulder, ready to pounce. I don't know if she's going to wait until the last 100 as she comes off the stretch, or if she's going to go now. And she is moving on the stretch. Obviously, if you're Estero, you don't want to give up that inside rail. It looks like the Estero runner has fallen back into second, and Devin would be good to close the door on the inside of the rail and make sure that nobody comes back on her as she starts to move out into lane 2, but looking and feeling pretty good. Lakewood Ranch, the fastest girls in 3A, they are going to win the state championship as they come across in a very good time of 9:14. That's almost as good as American Heritage 9:13.53, the state leader. So a great time for both Lakewood Ranch and Estero.
Thanks again to halfmiletiming.com for giving us our times. Lakewood at 9:14.15. As you mentioned, Estero in second at 9:18.16. And actually, in the end, it looks like Miami Northwestern,
or St. Cloud,
actually
moving up.
Cloud moved
Yep.
up to third at 9:31.20. Bartram trailing fourth. And Northwestern, who led most of the way, dropped back a bit at the end. But those times, Stanton finishes fifth at 9:35.19. And all those times are better so far than Cardinal Gibbons, who won the first section ad. So looking for the final totals, as you see there. Fort Myers 6th, Creekside 7th, and in the end, Northwestern ends up fading as Naples finishes 8th. And I think Northwestern ended up in 9th after leading the first half of the race. So as you said, Dr. Bob, the
so Cardinal Gibbons will
Northwestern
move.
faded a little bit at the end after a good start, but you got it's all about endurance. And sorry, go.
And Cardinal Gibbons, Marty, out of that first section, they're doing it the hard way. They're going to get on the podium as the 8th team, I believe. We will confirm it, but I believe they're going to be the 8th team when it's all said and done. And no, I take that back. Naples is going to be just a little bit ahead of them in 9:44. So just a little bit shy for Cardinal Gibbons, and Naples out of that section will get the 8th and final spot on the podium.
So all 8 of the spots on the podium will come from this section too. Again, The winner is Lakewood Ranch. They'll get 10 points for first. So a good start for them today as they try to win the 3A state title. Estero in second, St. Cloud third, Bartram Trail is fourth, and Stanton in fifth, Fort Myers in sixth, Creekside seventh, Naples in eighth. Miami Northwestern finished ninth in that section and out of the running. So I guess not a huge surprise maybe there. Lakewood Ranch considered the favorite. They had the best time in the regionals coming in, and they like to bide their time a little bit, but really a nice run in there by Olivia Ortiz and Devin McDermott, both strong runs to help lead Lakewood Ranch back.
And it's a really, really good effort for Lakewood Ranch. Probably the second fastest time in the state. And more importantly, they get the 10 points, which is going to solidify their team rankings. They really needed to garner some points out of that 4x8. Make sure that nobody else like a Dillard or an Evans or a Gainesville, Pine Forest, any of those schools, able to creep up and maybe knock them off of the runner-up position or possibly even the team championship. Although I think later on when it's all said and done, Miami Northwestern will be really strong in all the other disciplines, the sprints and the field events. Miami Northwestern probably the heavy favorite going in for the girls to win the team championship. And Lakewood Ranch right there along with the rest of them.
Yeah, Miami Northwestern, I know we've talked about probably will, in the speed events coming up later, probably the favorite as well. But Lakewood Ranch does get the first victory of the 3A state championships here in the 4x800 meter relay final. So they'll pick up 10 points as Lakewood Ranch gets 10 points. Estero will pick up 8, 6 points for St. Cloud, 5 for Bartram Trail, 4 for Stanton, 3 for Fort Myers, 2 for Creekside, and 1 point for Naples. So that is the girls 4x800 meter relay. And now we'll be coming up with the boys. What you know about the boys 4x800 meter relay? So we get that started here in our first session of the day in the 3A state championships of track and field here from the University of North Florida in Jacksonville here on the FHSAA network. And in section 1 we'll have Jensen Beach in lane 2, Winter Springs in lane 3, Bellin Jesuit in 4, Naples High School in lane 5, Ridgeview in 6, Tampa Jefferson in 7, and St. Cloud High School in lane 8. And the fastest time of these schools is Naples with 8:11.63 in the regional.
And the fastest time in the state, we'll get a chance to see them in the second section for 3A. Bartram Trail, they've already gone 7:57.96, dipping below that 8-minute mark. They did that at the Florida Relays earlier on this year. And man, did we see some 4x8s thrown down in the Region of Death a couple weeks ago, a week and a half or so, up at Flag La Palm Coast. 7:49 for Lake Brantley. We'll get a chance to see them go head-to-head tomorrow night with Colonial. And if you're interested in the fastest time in the nation right now, it's 7:39.73 Westfield out of Virginia.
That's quite a time, isn't it? 7:39.73, and looks like we are ready to go.
Well, let's run them down once again. We'll get a chance to take a look at a bunch of these teams. In lane 2, that will be Jensen Beach. Lane 3 will be Winter Springs in the purple. In lane 4 will be Bellin. They're easy to pick out. They're in the full white. Naples in 5, Ridgeview in 6, Tampa Jefferson in 7, and out in lane 8 will be St. Cloud.
And again, Naples, as we mentioned, with the fastest time of these schools in their regional. And they will be, well, Naples in lane 5, right in the middle. And we're off.
And we're underway. Section 1 of the boys 4x8. The fastest time ever for a Florida team. And this was a doozy. 7:31 points. Charlotte last year at New Balance Outdoors. A lot of these records probably out of reach by quite a ways for this section of the boys 4x8. Fastest seed coming in, once again, Naples out of lane 5 as the guys go through right around 28 high for that first 200. And Bellin to the lead on the inside rail. Well, that's what you like to see on the first leg of a 4x8. Everybody is there, and they've got to go 2 or 3 wide as they come in front of the grandstand for the first time. And 3 wide, right around 57 mid as they come through the first 400.
Very close running in the pack right now for these teams. Now we'll get a little bit of distance.
Stretching it out pretty good down on the backstretch, making his move with right around a lap to go. 600 mark at 125.
Last year's champion in this event was Charlotte. Punta Gorda Charlotte High School in 7:40.44. Charlotte also was the state champ last year.
So Ridgeview with the lead. Tampa Jefferson in second. Berlin in third. This will be a very, very quick leg for the runner out of Ridgeview. 155 with Tampa Jefferson and Bellin right around 157. So a little bit surprising right now that Ridgeview out front, looking for Naples to maybe make up a little bit of room and some distance as we progress in the race. They come in right around 8:11 for both of those teams, and not too far behind Bellin, right around 8:12 out of the regional time. Ridgeview ran their PR last week at the regional meet, so they are peaking at just about the right time here. Ridgeview now Bellin into second. Tampa Jefferson falling back into fourth. Jensen Beach moving up into third, but it's Ridgeview 253, Bellin 255. And Jensen Beach presently in third.
Now we're seeing the Ridgeview lead get cut into a little bit here by Bellin Jesuit.
Yeah, that lead is down to no more than about a second and a half. We know how deep Bellin is. They can almost throw anybody into a 4x8 and put together a state team that will be able to compete with everybody else. Here we go, 325. Bellin coming up on the right-hand shoulder of the runner from Ridgeview. Going end of the turn, always a little bit tougher, but if you've got the momentum, that's the time to do it. No need to tuck on back. You've only got 150 meters to the handoff. So Bellin Jesuit, Ridgeview, followed by Jensen Beach as they stretch them out here in section 1 of the boys 4x8. Really good to see if somebody can maybe dip down close to the 8-minute mark. That's 3:54, so they're on pace to go sub-8 for Bellin. And Jensen Beach and Ridgeview right there, right around 8 flat on their pacing for the 4x8 when it's all said and done.
And Bellin coming in with a regional time of 8:12.82, so not far off of Naples and Ridgeview are the two top times coming in.
Well, it's hard to look at the Bellin team and wonder just how good they could be if they had their state champion and Foot Locker finalist, Elliot Clemente, healthy and ready to go. Elliot out with a couple of nagging injuries, going to take the rest of the season off, not here today, and get ready to compete for the University of Florida in the fall. But Bellin continues to lead, coming up with 1 lap to go for this leg, right around 4:52. So that was right around a 58-second leg for the runner from Bellin.
Naples now in second. Ridgeview running in third.
Not a whole lot of change in the distance between Bellin. If anything, they're starting to stretch it out now over Tampa Jefferson and Ridgeview. Well, we'll try and see what Bellin is able to close in on the anchor leg. Normally you expect your anchor at a state meet to be able to go somewhere right around 157, 158 on the anchor. So Bellin looking pretty good, but coming back now. Tampa Jefferson in second and holding steady in third. Ridgeview. We'll give them 5:55 at the handoff, so definitely below 8-minute pace.
We got some runners down, and boy, it is hot down there. They are resting after the fact. It's going to be the story of the day, I believe, and tomorrow here in UNF in Jacksonville. University of North Florida is the heat. It definitely, summer has come to Florida early in May.
Looks like a solid leg for the runner, the anchor leg for Bellin.
They are extending that lead.
Once again, doing everything they can to run as fast as they can in this section and hopefully get up onto the podium.
About 6:53 there, 6:52.
Yeah, we'll give them about a 57. And I take that back. That's Jensen followed by a Ridgeview. So they're running 2-3, but it's all Bellin with 300 meters to go down the backstretch. And Ridgeview possibly going to make a move. That's only about 20 meters up to Jensen Beach in second. We'll see if they are able to come back in this last 200. But it's all Bellin Jesuit. He will have 100 meters to home. Running time 7:39. So definitely going to be below 8. Fastest time in the state 7:49. And Bartram Trail's got the fastest time in 3A at 7:57, but that's going to be the new state leading time.
7:50, about 7:55. We'll see the official number, but Bellin Jesuit comes in first, 7:54.98. Jensen Beach in second. Ridgeview will finish third. 8:04.14 for Jensen Beach. All the teams running below their regional times. Ridgeview at 8:08.63 below their time. Naples finishes fourth at 8:10.08. Then St. Cloud in fifth. Tampa Jefferson sixth, and Winter Springs will bring up the rear at number 7. So pretty fast race there. Fairly fast. Said that the fastest time so far in 3A this year as Bellin gets the victory.
Really good time for Bellin, considering that they really had to run out front against the clock and by themselves for the latter part of that race. They've already gone 8:01.61 at FSU relays earlier on. So to be able to drop 7:54.98 and get the win in Section 1, that's good for Bellin. Question is it going to be fast enough, Marty? Is it going to be fast enough to get up on the podium with the really fast Section 2 coming up?
And the next section, we'll see the best time is Palmetto Ridge at 8:03.01. That was the best regional time. But we'll have Bartram Trail in this heat as well, in this section. And Estero, Central, Steinbrenner. And we'll go all over this in a minute when they get in their lanes. Charlotte High School, Childs, Carroll City, and Robert E. Lee coming up in the next heat. And again, our times brought to you by halfmiletiming.com. A 7:54.98 for Bellin. They come in first in that section. Jensen Beach in second at 8:04.14. Ridgeview in third at 8:08.63.
And this is where it really kind of hurt Bellin to run one of their slower times at the regional meet last week, because by going 8:12.82 at the region, that got them into the first section. But they're an 8-minute flat team thereabouts. They really deserve to be up in this second section, but that's what you've got to do. You've got to produce at the regionals to get into the fast heat here at the state meet. The rest of these teams, and man, this is going to be a barn burner, Marty. A lot of good teams. I mean, it's definitely going to take well below, I think, 8 minutes flat to win the state championship. Every other team, probably other than Bellin, is going to be in this section that are at the leader list for the 3A boys in the 4x8.
Yeah, all these teams in this section had an 8:07.68 or lower or faster. Estero at 8:07.68. So should be interesting to see here as, again, all of these are lower than 8:08 in the regionals. And we will give you the lineup here in just a moment for our second section of the boys 4x800 meter relay finals from the University of North Florida here in Jacksonville. This is our opening event of the day, the girls 4x800 meter relay. Just occurred, and the winner there was Lakewood Ranch. So Lakewood Ranch gets the first victory of the day and 10 points towards the team totals in Class 3A.
Well, I'm not sure how to call this one. You know, historically, Charlotte has a really strong 4x8, but now we're starting to see the emergence of some of these other teams across the state. I'm thinking along the lines of a Palmetto Ridge. They come in with the fastest seed, 8:03.01. A Bartram Trail. You know, Bartram Trail, I think, has kind of figured it out. You take some of your 400 runners and you make them 800 runners, and all of a sudden you've got a really fast 4x8 team. They're also really good in cross country. I say that with a little bit of slyness for the coaches over there. And then you've also got teams like we don't get to see a whole lot. Miami Carroll City and some of the Childs teams from up north, Miami Central. So a lot of good teams towing the line here in Section 2 of the boys 4x8. It's going to play out. We'll get a chance to see what the tactics are. We'll see who they put on the anchor. I can almost guarantee you that if you're Charlotte, and as I look down, I see Ryan Schnelly. He'll be on the anchor. He could make up a lot of ground in the last lap and really change the field to a 4x8 race if that's what it comes down to.
So Estero in lane 1, Central in lane 2, Steinbrenner in lane 3, Bartram Trail will be in lane 4, Palmetto Ridge is in 5, Charlotte High School in 6, Childs is in 7, Carroll City in 8, and Robert E. Lee in lane 9. And we are underway. The second section of the 4x800 boys meter relay finals. And a good start for Robert E. Lee and Carroll City. Both get off to an early lead, but very quickly the pack comes toward them and passes the two runners.
Yeah, that's going to be Central dropping down for the lead. Time to beat out of that first section, 7:54.98. Estero in second. Charlotte, they're easy to pick up. They're in the yellow tops with the blue jerseys as the guys go through right around 28. So very, very quick opening 200. Well within reason, though. We're not seeing anybody go out in 25 or 26. It's a well-reasoned 200 meters, and they'll come through with a solid 400-meter split. So Miami Central with the lead right now, followed by Bartram Trail in second and Estero in third. Charlotte hanging out right around fifth with George Steinbrenner in third. Right around 57 high.
Mentioned the fastest time in the nation this year, 7:39.73 by Westfield in Alexandria, Virginia. Boy, it'd be tough to get to that, but you never know. There isn't very little wind, hardly any wind at all today. Maybe a little breeze blowing.
And luckily, Marty, we got a little bit of cloud cover as the guys come through right around 27 at 600. And that's Bartram Trail in the lead right now.
Bartram Trail considered one of the favorites for the boys championship this year in Class 3A. It should be a close race all day, really. Right now, Bartram Trail takes the advantage. That is Brandon Ballard.
So right around 156 mid. Bartram Trail starting to stretch it out, and they've got a real solid anchor. If it comes down to a kick between Bartram Trail and Charlotte, that would be really something to see. So Bartram Trail, Estero, Steinbrenner, and then Miami Central. Those are your top four teams right now. But it's Bartram Trail, 10 meters out front, and here comes Miami Central, moving up into second. Just on the shoulder of the runner from Steinbrenner with Estero in 4th, and now Estero back into 5th.
As Carroll City moves into 4th.
2:54. Miami Central in 2nd, and that is Steinbrenner with Carroll City now into 4th. Still lots of racing left in this boys 4x8. We'll get some more position changes throughout the rest of the race.
Good leg here for Alan Seraphin of Central. Bartram Trail went at 8:04.72. Regional Central was 8:06.91, so they are really challenging Bartram Trail now, and coming towards the lead is Seraphin for Central.
And the team that I really like at this point is Steinbrenner, just based on their youth. You know, they don't really have any superstars. They're just really, really solid, and they're getting better and better as the years go by. And here we see some changes with 100 meters to go. Bartram Trail now followed by Carroll City in 2nd. Steinbrenner in 3rd.
What a leg for Marcus Smith of Carroll City. He's going to pull his team into 2nd as we approach now the halfway point. We're 4 minutes in. Still a slight lead for Bartram Trail.
And this is the first time we've mentioned Childs. They've been moving up nicely. Presently into 3rd. And well off the pace, a good 70 meters off the pace. Back in 6th right now is Charlotte. So, you know, if you've got Ryan Schnelly on the anchor, yeah, you want to get some points, but I'm not sure you're going to ask him to run a 1:51 leg the middle of the day and then come back for his events later on this evening.
Yeah, we've definitely got a pack of 2, a pack of 3, and then everyone else right now. Quite a distance between 2nd and 3rd. But 1st and 2nd is neck and neck right now between Bartram Trail and Carroll City.
Bartram Trail very good to not give up the inside rail. Let Carroll City work for every inch of this track as they come through 4:52.
Pretty good time right now at this point. Again, the time to beat is 7:54.98 by Bellin.
Childs in 3rd. Looks like the leg turnover is there with 300 meters to go down the backstretch. Can he make up some room and maybe bring it down to the anchor? Carroll City starting to move by with 210 meters to go. He's going to take the inside rail, a very smart move at this point. Putting Bartram Trail back into 2nd, Childs into 3rd, and a good battle for 4th between Steinbrenner and Miami Central. So it's Carroll City right now. And Carroll City, you know, they've got the 2nd fastest time in 3A. They've already gone sub-8 this year, 7:58.85 at the Miramar Invitational, and they will get the lead, 5:53, so definitely sub-8 pace, but not that much quicker. I would have expected it to be a little bit quicker than that first section. Looking very, very good out front, Carroll City, followed by Bartram Trail.
And Carroll City really pouring it on now, but Bartram Trail trying to make up some ground as we go into the final stretch of this 2nd section of the finals of the 4x800 boys meter, or 4x800 meter relay for boys.
And not really a player. You know, I thought Palmetto Ridge was going to be a little bit more of a player based off of their regional times in this race. And it could come down to the last lap because it looks like Bartram Trail's got a little bit of momentum as Carroll City goes 6:49. That's only about a 1.5 difference back to the runner from Bartram Trail. Childs in 3rd, Central in 4th. We've got a race, Marty.
Yes, we do. Boy, we're coming down the stretch, and look at these two. Bartram Trail coming up on Carroll City. Maybe running out of gas a little bit.
200 meters to go. 7:21 on the running time. They should be able to close in right around 27, 28 seconds. Did Bartram have to expend so much energy to get up to this point to put themselves on the heels of Miami Carroll City?
That's Juan Paul Green for Carroll City, Marcus Taylor for Bartram Trail, and we are coming down the stretch. But you're right, Bartram maybe Taylor too quick that time to make up ground, and now he's going to fall back. May have injured himself.
He's just tightening up
a bit. And
he's got 10 meters to go. Is he going to hold on for second? Carroll
like
City gets the win. Bartram in second, 7:57.
And third place goes to to Steinbrenner High School. 7:52.23 for Carroll City. Bartram Trail at 7:57.07. And Steinbrenner comes in at a 7:57.82 in third place. Miami Central at an even 8 minutes and 19. So Bellin's going to come in second behind Carroll City. Childs in fifth at 8:01.17. Charlotte at 8:03.74. They come in sixth. You mentioned Palmetto Ridge. Yeah, never really a factor in this race.
Never a factor, pulling up the tail end there. You know, you never know what happens between regionals and state. There's a lot of tactics involved. Sometimes you just figuring you save your guys for a little bit later on. That may have been the case because I don't ever really remember seeing Miranda or Pelletier possibly out there. Maybe a good opportunity. You know what? I'd have to go back and take a hard look at it, but maybe they decided to give some of their youngsters a little bit of state experience and hold on to some of their faster runners for the individual races later on.
So Charlotte in sixth, Robert E. Lee High School in seventh, Estero in eighth. That means Palmetto Ridge comes in ninth. So according to those times, Carroll City is the winner, and Bellin will come in second.
And you very rarely see that. I can remember only once or twice when a team out of Section 1 has really made such a great stride to get up into the runner-up position at the state finals.
They almost won the thing.
Almost won the thing, yeah. A couple years ago, I can remember a team out of the Section 1 that actually won the state championship the hard way, the really hard way. As we turn our attention now, we've got the awards for the girls 4x8 down on the track right in front of us. The girls out of Lakewood Ranch will be your state champions.
Lakewood Ranch coming in first as we will go over the top 8 here again. Lakewood Ranch comes in first place. Second is Estero. Third, St. Cloud. And fourth place, Bartram Trail. And in fifth, we have Stanton Prep from Jacksonville. Number 6, Fort Myers High School. Seventh is Creekside High School out of St. Johns County. And eighth is Naples. So they are now getting their medals, and has the ceremony going on now for the girls 4x800 meter relay, which happened right before the boys 4x800 meter relay. And we'll give you the boys top 8 again in just a moment. But again, 10 points for Lakewood Ranch for winning that 4x800 meter relay. So they take an early lead in the 3A state tournament, the team total, with a long way to go today here in these 3A state championships from the University of North Florida here in Jacksonville. Hodges Stadium, that's where we are on the campus of UNF. Marty Paulman along with Dr. Bob Cook of distancepreps.com. And I don't know if maybe a little surprising, but I guess like what you just said, Bellin probably running their best time of the year, and not often do you see a team in Section 1 move all the way up into second place and a couple seconds off from finishing first.
Yeah, very interesting. And the girls from Lakewood Ranch, you know, let's hand it to them. Second fastest time in the state this year, right behind American Heritage out of Plantation.
Yeah, they came in with a 9:14.15 today. And Lakewood Ranch was expected to be pretty strong in the distance events, and we'll see if that helps them as the day goes on. They'll probably be battling Northwestern out of Miami most of the day for that 3A state championship. Again, you see the top 8. And in the boys' finals, it'll be 10 points for Carroll City High School with a 7.52. And Bellin will come in second with a 7.54.98. So 10 points there for Carroll City and 8 for Bellin. Times being brought to you again by halfmiletiming.com. And the 7.52 not far off the all-time or the record this year. in the state. And the girls will go off the podium as they celebrate making it to the medal stand. And we'll have the boys come up and get honored as well.
And if you're Carroll City, you're very, very happy with that win out of the boys 4x8 and getting yourself 10 points. Peg to come in, you know, on the virtual meets that we take a look at from milesplit.us, flrunners.com. Pegged at 6th place, in which case they wouldn't get as many points as the win. So they're looking very good right now, Miami Carroll City. Well, I can tell you that a lot of these 4x8 runners, the first thing they want to do is probably bypass the media tent and head straight to where there's a little bit of shade and maybe get a little bit of rest until they come back later on this afternoon and early into this evening.
Yeah, we will be signing off here in a few minutes, but we'll be back this afternoon around about 4 o'clock, and then we will be here a little bit of a break this evening. We will be here until around 9:15 tonight. 3:55. So we'll be back on at 3:55.
So some really good 4x8s. Hey, let's take a break and we'll get ready for the prelims later on.
Okay, so that's going to do it for now, and we appreciate you tuning in for this opening session of the day. We'll be back here at 4 o'clock, and we'll bring you some more events for this 3A State Track Championships here at Hodges Field, the University of North Florida. This has been a production of Play On Sports. We'll talk to you again soon from Jacksonville.